Cyber Uncensored.
Hey, what's up? I'm officially live. You can see me and hear me now, hopefully. Anybody that actually tuned in and is here for the start of this, let me know in chat that you can hear me and see me and everything's okay. Obviously, I'll get anything fixed if you can't. Hey, Renegade, what's up? Thanks for the sub. I haven't gotten to see you in a while in the chat. I know you've been busy. And yeah, condolences and all the positive thoughts to you and your family. I know you just had a loss and stuff with your father. And yeah, I just know you've been going through it, man. So just my love and support out to you. I'm glad to see you in the chat. Hey, Night City, what's up? Hey, and Chris, Cold Spider, that's awesome. I'm glad everybody's able to tune in. Just real quick, we were supposed to do our Dune stream right now, but one of our players was sick last minute, and unfortunately, I just put out all the promos. I put the flyers on all the pages on the Discords, Twitter. Even players and some of the sponsors and brands were sharing it because we're sponsored by like Fantasy Grounds, Low Key Maps, and Cyberfight Clothing and others. And so like all the promos went out, and then I got the message that the player wasn't feeling good and she couldn't make it. And anytime I have a player cancel on a team for any reason, I typically cancel the stream. I don't like to continue on, having the team play without one of the players there. I feel like it's empty. I don't want to, kind of wing that player and turn it into an NPC for a session. I don't want that player also to miss all the cool things that you find out in sessions. If you've seen my games, I put a lot of effort into plot twists and little, pieces of evidence and just like little cool Easter eggs and things. Like every session for me has multiple levels to it, and I don't want any player to miss it. So once she canceled, I canceled the Dune stream, and I decided to throw together a quick AMA. I haven't done one of these in months. I haven't done this in like probably over half a year. I've been so busy with the gameplay and tutorials and traveling and filmmaking and everything else I'm doing. But yeah, I figured, fuck it. I'll use this opportunity. Unfortunately, can't play Dune. I really was ready, to get back into Dune, which we will make that up in a couple weeks. We'll pick up this session, and then we'll be right back on normal schedule on the last Sunday of the month. But anyways, I figured, like, fuck it. Let me not lose the momentum. I've already put out promos. I'm sure some friends, fans, and fam are going to tune in. So let's at least do something. So I'm doing this AMA. I made a quick list of things I want to go over in this video to kind of update you on plans and things I'm working on, as well as I've had a few questions sent to me since being at GenCon, and I figured this would be a great place to kind of answer those, do it live. And then if anybody in chat has any questions or things that they want me to go over or answer, it could be GM tips, things about the brand, things about me personally. I'm down with that too. Hey, Savage, what's up? Said, oh, can't really watch. We're out and about. Just wanted to let you know that you're wonderful, Rob. I appreciate that. Thanks, Kevin. You and Katie are awesome. I really appreciate that. In fact, you're reminding me to give a shout out to all my supporters on Patreon. It really means a lot to me. Before I get into this AMA and start rocking all these topics and questions, let me just give a shout out to those that support me there and keep putting fuel on my fire. Seriously, I consider myself just a firestorm of creative energy. I can't stop. I don't sleep. I work so hard at so many things. And yeah, I'm just passionate about a lot of things, and I can't slow down, And it's the supporters on Patreon that literally keep me going and are my motivation. Like, it's all the fans and friends and fam that tune in, they share the links and stuff. That's the validation. It absolutely validates what I do, and I really appreciate that. But then, like, those that step up and join the Patreon and actually, like, throw some bucks at me and, like, show that they really support it and they love what I'm doing. Like, I can't thank you enough. That shit means so much to me. So thank you so much. Let me give a shout out to Kevin Moreno, Joseph Holder, Naomi Madlass, William Huddleston, Jamie Minch, John Erfurt, Leaded Coffee, Michael Edmonds, a.k.a. Kira, Chris Anderson, Matt James, Jam Reservoir Panda, Rothin, a.k.a. Renegade 420, Revolver Grace, Samurai Max, Steve Barr of Sirenscape, Zeno, Zach Capricious Nature, Cyber Smiley, Raven, Andy Stretton, Copious Salt, Derek Lawrence, Daniel Terry, Alex Maxwell, Nicholas King, Tracy Goodwin, a.k.a. Stink Palm, Igor, and Chris Callies. Yeah, and shout out to Chris, too. He's going to be joining up with Team Veritas maybe not next session, but the one after. We're just waiting for the current campaign to kind of wrap. One of the players has to depart, and then we'll get Chris in there. Let's see, have you guys considered doing Starfinder? Hey, Dina, what's up? Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the things I'm going to be going over in my notes in this little AMA. I was going to talk about some expansions with the brand. We do everything. It all kind of started around Cyberpunk, obviously. I love Cyberpunk. That's like, my shit. But ultimately, like, I love all dystopian gameplay, sci-fi, future, any style of dystopian. In fact, I've got a very low fantasy, sort of medieval, dark horror dystopian gameplay coming up soon. I recently hooked up with the guys over at Studio Agate for Shadows of Esteren while at GenCon. And the last Monday of the month, I'm going to be running Shadows of Esteren, which is like a horror medieval sort of dystopian game. It's like there's no elves and dwarves and dragons and shit like that. It's very human-based. It has a lot of mental trauma and mental resilience skill checks and shit like that. It's very deep. It was actually created by a psychiatrist, him and his team. And it's really dark and cool. And that's when I saw it, I was like, man, I don't normally fuck with like, medieval shit, even though I love medieval, lore and history and stuff. And grew up on Dungeons and Dragons, but I obviously trailed away from fantasy and totally dove into cyberpunk and that style of gameplay, right, in games and genres. But when I saw Shadows and I saw what it was and just how dystopian and fucked up it is and realistic to like human nature and stuff, I had to have it. It's perfect for Cybernation Uncensored because of that dystopian vibe. So I'll be rocking that the last Monday of the month. I've got some really awesome players there, like Steve from Sirenscape, my beautiful wife, Val Mulligan, and some others. I believe we've got Rockette Fox is committed to joining. We've got some new faces joining as well, some cosplayers and stuff. So it's going to be a great stream, just like most of my teams. If you check out any of my teams, it doesn't matter what game I'm playing, we get into it. I use overlays, we cosplay, we get into costume. Like all my players, they get into cosplay, wearing the outfits, the makeup, getting into character, using voices. And, we really try to act it out and put a lot of effort into our gameplay. I think a lot of that comes from me being a filmmaker. I love tabletop role-playing games. But being a producer, a director, a writer, an actor, and just, fucking with the film industry, I think it gave me a lot of knowledge, background, and talent behind those sort of things that I have kind of translated well into tabletop role-playing games, as well as being a touring musician, just having great stage presence, the gift of gab, all that sort of shit. It allows me, as a game master, to kind of improv, run off, my cuff, and just work with what happens. And I'm very comfortable on camera and just speaking and stuff. As you see in my tutorials and gameplay, like most of the shit I do is live. I don't edit. I speak off the top of my head. I speak from my heart, and I speak what I know. I don't have to edit and read and contrive my videos and like fake like I know what I'm talking about by editing parts. Read, rehearse, recite, read, rehearse, recite. Like, no, man. Like, I run it live. I tell you what the fuck I know, and I try to express that sort of stuff in the video, and that's why I do it live, no editing. But anyways, I'm going on a tangent now. Let's get back. Let's get to some of these things I want to go over. And as we're going, anybody in chat, feel free to drop any questions. It could be about anything, about the brand, me as a game master, tabletop role playing, but also, me being a touring musician, filmmaker, into physical education, all that sort of stuff. Like, feel free to ask me anything. That's what an AMA is. But let's get into some of the things I wanted to go over. The first thing, we've already kind of dabbled in it, is where is this brand going? What is the plan for Cybernation Uncensored? We're still rocking Cyberpunk. If you check it out, I mean, just me alone, and we have other game masters. Obviously, you see GM Capricious Nature. We've had Reservoir Panda, who might be coming back. We've got Raven, who's starting up her High Riders campaign soon. So it's other GMs too, but just me personally. If you check it out, I run every Saturday. I run Cyberpunk Red Team Nevermore. The second and last Wednesday of the month, I run Cyberpunk Red Team Veritas. Every Thursday, I run the Sirenscape Cyberpunk Red Team on the Sirenscape Twitch channel. And then the last Sunday of the month, I run Dune. It's an all-femme cast of Bene Gesserits. It's really cool. That's the one that was canceled today, unfortunately, due to illness. That's why I'm doing this AMA. And then the last Monday of the month, I'm going to be rocking that Shadows of Esteren, which is that low fantasy, dark, medieval horror game. It's going to be really dark, really fucked up. I'm gonna love it. You're gonna love it too if you're into that. But as you see, like every week, I'm running multiple teams between Cybernation Uncensored and Sirenscape, and then I'm making appearances on other games and things. Like yesterday, I was on Roll the Cast. I got to play, and I've got some others in the works. But aside from running all that, I am absolutely looking to expand. We're talking to Modifius about Homeworld. I'm talking, well, I don't want to mention too many because, I don't know exactly what's going to come through or not, but I can assure you I'm talking to about 3 or 4 other game companies, about 3 or 4 other game systems and genres that fit in with the dystopian, dark, sci-fi future or low fantasy vibe. It's all has to be dystopian and very realistic to me. Like, I'm just, as much as I love fantasy stuff, when it comes to gameplay, I don't know. I guess maybe burnt out from it or something, but I'm just not into like, elves and gnomes and all those dragons and creatures and like all that sort of stuff. It's interesting, but when it comes to playing, I like the more realistic, dark, dystopian vibes and shit. It just hits me harder, and I like that so much more. So that's what it's about. So I am expanding, but it is absolutely all the games that I bring in, everything that we're doing is going to fit within that vibe, with the exception of our family game night. And I don't know if it's going to be family game night. That's what I've been calling it, because I'm going to be running games live, with my parents, and then my wife's nephew, and then also other players that live locally. We're going to get together and do some stuff. So I keep saying family night because it involves family, to me. But it's basically going to be live gameplay in person. We're going to get together maybe once a month, I don't know yet, and play some games in person, film it or stream it live. I'm working on the details of it. But we've got the Agatha Christie Death on the Cards game from Modifius. I've got some other one from We Have Issues Publishing, which is that Zinvader one with the minis where you use it on your environment, like in your table, because the minis are actually the aliens that came to invade, and they didn't realize that they're tiny and humans are huge. And like, it's a great concept. I'm not going to get into too much of it right now, because once I seal that deal and we start getting into it, I'll explain what it is. But as you see, I've got multiple things down the pipeline that I'm working on, and I'm constantly trying to expand. I'm constantly trying to do more. I've always been an avid believer in not being stagnant. I feel like stagnant behavior, man, that just it breeds just being boring. I can't be easily satisfied. I'm just constantly wanting to do more and just pursue any of my interests and passions that I have, and I do. But that's the idea here, is lots more gameplay coming, expanding even into like real in-person game. I'm also talking to Funko. If you can't tell, I collect Funko. I'm here near the Hollywood shop. I've been talking to them, met them at GenCon, and been talking a little more via email, but hopefully we'll be running some of the Funko games too in person, maybe with Val's nephew and stuff. So not just tabletop role-playing games. So as you see, we're expanding into a bunch of things. But it's always going to have that sort of dystopian, sci-fi, dark vibe. Any of those sort of dark things. I'm just going to avoid the straight 100%, fantasy style stuff and like the hero run fantasy vibes. Mine's going to be more based in reality, with the exception of, like I said, that monthly in-person game night or family game night or whatever it's going to be called. I don't know yet. It's a work, it's a title a work in progress or whatever. But that one might have more like I said, Funko games, card games, a board game, stuff that I'm working with on different game companies to showcase other game stuff, and also to be able to stream with like my parents playing, my nephew, the players I fuck with that actually live locally, like Raven right here that you see in chat, the one that's starting up the High Riders campaign. She lives near me, not too far. Daniel, who played the Netrunner on Rio in my very first stream, Team Nameless, he lives right down the road from me. And then there's a few others too that live locally, like right around the Los Angeles area. So that's what kind of sparked the idea, like, man, I want to do more in-person gameplay. I've got these other opportunities to do more than just tabletop role-playing games and stuff, and it fits within the brand. It would be fun to expand that. And shit, my players live locally. We should get together and do that. So that's kind of how that started and what's going on. Hey, what's up? My beautiful wife Valerie in chat. You must be on break. And BB Swaggin says dark medieval, like Berserk. Yeah, exactly. It's got like that dark medieval vibe. It's like based on Celtic lore and French lore. It's a French company, Studio Agate. So Shadows of Esteren is kind of based on Celtic lore mixed with French lore. And then like there's these Fiondas or whatever, which are like the equivalent of negative thoughts and energy from humans. They kind of picture this. There's no set structure of them, and that's kind of like the bad evil entity that you battle with. but it's mostly based on humans and stuff, and it's got a very dark vibe. It's gonna be pretty cool. I'm excited to expand into that, and I love the company. I got to interview them for my docuseries while at GenCon, and they're just an awesome team of people. But that's the plan with the brand, expanding into more gameplay, live gameplay, expanding the dystopian reach to not just be future, dabble a little bit in true history and medieval vibes and stuff. And I'm open to other ideas. So if you're out there and you see this AMA and you've got some ideas, of a game company or a game that we should check out, or you want to connect us with, absolutely do that. Connect me with that company, that game, and we'll consider it. The more the better. And also, if you're watching this and you're a Gamemaster, and you want to join our brand and come and stream with us and have some fun, hit me up. We want more. My long-term dream for Cybernation Uncensored would be, every fucking day of the week there's a stream. There's a live stream every day of the week, maybe multiple times throughout a day, just all kinds of tabletop role-playing games and other games, all fitting in with that vibe. Obviously, it still has that vibe that Cybernation Uncensored is. I still don't want to mess with hero fantasy D&D, that sort of vibe, but I'm absolutely down to expand in other directions and push the boundaries of what we're doing. So anyways, if you're a Game Master, hit me up on that level too. I'd love to get you as part of the brand and streaming with us, or even just running a one-shot, or maybe playing with one of our GMs. Hit me up. I also open up some seats on my Patreon once in a while, so keep your eyes open on that if you want to just jump in and play sometime. You can always buy a seat, hop in, and knock it out. All right, cool. Let's see. What about some noir stuff? Cold Spider said, absolutely. Anything dark, dystopian, noir, anything based in human, problems and things and personalities and traits. That's what I loved about Shadows. When I started getting into it, when you battle, you don't want to battle. It's very brutal. It's easy to die. So you kind of avoid that. It's very realistic, you don't want to get stabbed, right? But if you do, say you get bit by a bear, you get stabbed by a thief, something fucked up, you end up with a scar. It takes its toll. You might have mental damage and anguish from it, some type of mental PTSD from it that plays into future roles and things. It's an awesome game. The crunch is not so deep and elaborate that it's hard to grasp. It's kind of simple crunched. It's not that much. But what it does have is very much so based in human psychology and a very dark, medieval, it's absolutely and German romanticism. I forgot that. All the artwork and the vibe of it, it absolutely has that German romanticism sort of overlay, which has this dark tone, but the romanticism just puts this I don't know, an almost medieval Baroque sort of over the top vibe, but set in this dark, fucked up medieval realistic Celtic lore setting or something. It's hard to put my finger on it to explain it. But yeah, dark medieval horror with a touch of artistic romanticism, and it's cool. I can't wait to get it going. We'll have our session 0 the last Monday of September. Let me check exactly what date that is. The 26th. So September 26th, that'll be our session 0. You'll get to meet the characters. You'll get to kind of see what we're doing. And then you'll be ready for the following month when we start session 1, which will be the last Monday of every month. The last week of every month is going to rock for me, because it's going to be the last Monday will be Shadows of Esteren. The last Wednesday will be Team Veritas. That Thursday is my always going Sirenscape. Saturday will be Team Nevermore, and then Sunday will be my monthly Dune. So the last week of every month is going to be the most full for me. But I have games running every week all the time anyways. But you get my point. I would love to fill up every day of the fucking week, but I need, more GMs. I can't do it all myself, Yeah, and Val says, I can't wait. Exactly. Yeah, Val's going to be playing on that Shadows of Esteren team. It's going to be fucking awesome. I'm so excited about it. So yeah, there it is about the expansions and kind of what we're planning for Cybernation Uncensored, the new gameplay, other options of in-person game stuff. Let me refer to my notes here. Live games, Shadows of Esteren, working with Funko. Speaking of game stuff too, the other thing I'm working on are some adventures I'll be releasing for Cyberpunk Red. I'm working with Mr. Stids. He wrote out one of my campaigns with me to release it. Lion Banner Games provided maps. Crosswire, my artist buddy who does with the Cyberpunk Red app, he creates the art for that. He created the NPC artwork for it. It's an awesome. We have tokens and everything. It's a beautiful fucking adventure campaign. I'm trying to get it licensed through our Talsorian Games right now. I'm submitting it to them, so hopefully they release it and take it over. But obviously they have certain things that they got to check it all out, make sure it fits exactly what they need. We might have to alter it. It might not work. We might have to release it on our own, and change some of the lore to not perfectly be Cyberpunk red, but more like system agnostic or open for people to use. But I've got that one in the works, and then I'm also working with Stinkpalm. If anybody is familiar with Stinkpalm from the Cybernation Uncensored community, he's done the medicine supplement that's on our website, cybernationuncensored.com. Lots of free assets there. But I'm working with him. He's writing out one of my other campaigns. I've got another one that I ran a one-shot of, and I'm turning that into an adventure too. So hopefully within the next couple months, I'll have a couple adventure campaigns I'll be releasing on drive-through if I don't get the licensing deal through RTG. If I get it through Artalsorian, obviously, oh, that'd be so fucking cool. I would love that so much. And then they would release those campaigns. And I mean, I would just be so excited about that. But, if I don't get approval, if they can't release my campaigns, then we'll alter them a little and we'll release them on our own. So look out for that. That's coming very soon. Let's see here. Oh, shout out to my sponsors. Everyone's been seeing me with Cyber Fight Clothing, Lion Banner Games for my maps. Sirenscape has been a sponsor since day one. I use their sounds on all my gameplay, and now I'm running their weekly Cyberpunk Red team on Thursdays. But I wanted to shout out Low Key Maps. I met them at Gen Con. I met Matt over there. Awesome guy, awesome team. And he's hooked me up with all the Low Key maps that I need. Such an awesome company. Check out Low Key Maps. Also Fantasy Grounds. Everyone knows we've been rocking our gameplay on Roll20 for free, using the free Roll20 sign up for over a year now. And it's good. You can rock your maps and your character sheets, but there's always some things that don't work or just aren't there. It's good. It's free, and you know how that is. It's good because it's free. But we finally landed a sponsorship with Fantasy Grounds, and now we're over there, and oh my God, my mind is fucking blown. Like Fantasy Grounds is like 100 times better than Roll20, and even other ones I messed with. I tried messing with Astral and a couple others back in the day, and I know there's a learning curve with all these VTTs. The more that they do, the better they are, the more time it takes to learn. So I understand that, but Fantasy Grounds, holy shit, like it's so easy to pick up on. Me and the players have been learning it really quick. It has so much that it automatically does and rolls for you once you're set up. It has all the rules and things in there. We're going to be using it for our Dune. We're already using it for Cyberpunk Red. My Fallout game's coming back. I forgot to mention that earlier too. My Fallout Friday is coming back. Brandon's finally back, so I'll be rocking that on Fridays too. And then we're going to move that to the last Friday of the month. So yeah, the last week of every month, I'm only going to have Tuesdays off. Every other day, I'm going to be running a game, so that's going to be pretty exciting. But yeah, I forgot to mention Fallout. But yeah, ultimately, let's talk about Fantasy Grounds was the new sponsor. I can't mention the other one. I have another sponsor I'm working on, but I don't want to bring them up just yet. It looks like we're doing a deal. We're gonna work out something, and I'll be announcing them soon. I'm pretty excited about that, but we'll see. Let's talk a little bit about GenCon. I was at Gen Con with my wife Val. We were working the Sirenscape booth with the Sirenscape team. It was so cool to hang out with them in person. But it was also our first time at Gen Con, which was fucking impressive. It was so big and so awesome. And I just want to talk about that a little bit. I made some notes here and stuff. The first thing, it was crazy meeting our Talsorian Games. I can't believe how tall all of those guys are. Meeting Jay Gray, James Hutt, Mike Pondsmith, and all them. Like, they're all like 6'3" and stuff. Like, I couldn't believe it. Because, you see people on stream and you meet them in video chats and stuff, and you just can't gauge, like, people in person, So that was the first thing I thought was pretty funny, is meeting all of them in person and realizing, like, they're all tall. It was pretty cool. They're all giants at our Talsorian. I don't know what they're putting in the water at their office, but something. The other thing I wanted to talk about Gen Con is I saw a lot of people getting COVID after Gen Con from socializing, stuff like that. And I got a few messages from friends, streamers asking about me and Val, and like, no, we didn't get it. Neither did most of the Sirenscape team. I know Troy from our Sirenscape team, when he got back, he ended up getting COVID, but none of us did. I know he was playing games and going out and stuff. I think, me and Val avoided it for a few reasons, we kept our distance from people. Anytime I would shake a hand, give a hug, take a picture, I would use hand sanitizer, I would consciously try to not touch my face and stuff. And that's hard for me because I have OCD. It's why I have dreadlocks. Long story, it's in a past AMA. You can learn about that. But I also bite the skin on my fingers, like really bad, till it bleeds. Like you can kind of see right there, It's hard to tell. It's not really in focus, but like yeah, you can kind of see right there. Like I have these scars and gashes. Like I'll sit there and just like bite the skin, not the nail. And I'll just get like deep in thought. Like if I'm working on something, I'll be going. And before I know it, I'll feel wet and I'll look and I'll be bleeding. I'll be like, fuck, you know? And I just have that problem. I've always had it. I always bite my fingers. So that was one thing I had to, hey, Aaron Durant says I have the same problem with fingers. Yeah, I know a few people that do. It's a stress, anxiety thing, a bit of a coping mechanism, but it is self-destructive. It sucks, man. Like my fingers are fucked. I can't do certain things sometimes too because my fingers will be so hurting and stinging, and like, I'll have like cuts. But yeah, at Gen Con, I was like avoiding touching my face. I was using hand sanitizer, and I was really trying not to bite my fingers. Like, I was so careful, and so was Valerie. And like if we would go places, like go grab something to eat, or even going in and out of the convention center, I would always be like, don't touch the handles, I'll touch it. Or if Val already touched the handle, I'd be like, okay, now you're touching the handles. Like whichever one of us would open a door, like that's who would open doors until we get to the next hand sanitizer. You know what I mean? So like only one of us would be touching things, maybe a little paranoid, but hey, we didn't get sick and a lot of other people did. So I paranoid or careful, whatever you want to call it, it worked. The other thing too is I'm not a big partier anymore. Used to be back in the day, but I don't drink. I don't really go out and stuff like that. I'm more into like drinking water and exercising for the most part. So at Gen Con, other than working the convention, going around filming for my docuseries and meeting people and stuff and networking, we would leave at the end of the day and we would go back to the hotel. We would eat some dinner. We would just chill out, just me and Val, and lay low. And then the next day get back to the convention and work and network there. But after the event, we after the convention, we didn't really go out to bars or clubs. We didn't go to any of the after hours events where I would see pictures with people all shoulder to shoulder taking big group photos and hanging out. And like, I feel like maybe that's how people got COVID. They weren't careful at the convention, and then they were maybe going out partying in groups and just hanging out. And like, it's inevitable. Just like any sickness, like, shit's going to get around in groups and stuff. But anyways, I think that's kind of why me and Val were lucky. We just avoided all that sort of social stuff. We just kind of stuck to the work, and we were really careful. So it worked to our benefit. And speaking of Gen Con, speaking of how tall RTG is, speaking about COVID, I wanted to talk about my docuseries. While I was there, shout out to Sirenscape for taking us out and making us part of the team. And it gave me the opportunity to be able to film for my docuseries I'm working on. And hold on, let me hit some of these questions here. Oh, there's a topical product you can apply to Dieter finger / nail biting. Raven says, no, I'm very aware. It's kind of the same stuff that you give little kids for sucking a thumb, and like none of that really works. Like, I guess it makes you think about it, but like honestly, like when I get in the zone of just that anxiety and I'm thinking like I'll do it without even fucking knowing it. Like Val will have to walk over sometimes and like hit my hand out. I'm like, oh, like I won't even know. Sometimes I'll be in public too, and I'll be thinking, I'll just be like, it's like, fuck, I don't think about it, Cold sweater. Yeah, Indiana has been having a massive COVID issue recently. Oh yeah, definitely. Especially after Gen Con, it is literally the biggest event that they have there. The whole city is so welcoming because it's such an economy booster there. Aaron Durant says, I managed to avoid COVID for 2.5 years. Then someone in the house brought it home from the gym. We all got it because of that. Yeah, it can happen. It's that simple, just like any sickness. You can be careful and still get it. But I was just making the point that at Gen Con, I think me and Val were lucky because we were extra careful. We were extra paranoid about it, and we avoided crowds and going out and all that stuff. But yeah, my docuseries, I wanted to kind of explain that. I'm working on this docuseries. It's actually kind of turning into a documentary because I've gotten so many interviews and so much great footage that I don't know if I want to fit it into a docuseries format like I was working on prior. Like this episode was going to strictly be about this subject. Next episode was going to be about a different subject, and so on and so forth. But now I'm like, fuck, man, like I got so much great footage. I want to make it its own full documentary film and maybe make the other ones like that too. So I'm kind of debating that, but ultimately this one, the working title is It's Like Dungeons and Dragons, but ... The reason for that is if you play any games other than D&D, then you know exactly what that's like when you try to tell someone like, you stream, what do you stream? I'm like, I stream Cyberpunk Red. They're like, what's Cyberpunk Red? They have no idea. So I'm always like, well, it's like D&D, it's like Dungeons and Dragons, but set in the dark future. And that's always how it is. Just like, you stream Dune, like the movie or something, or books? I'm like, yeah, exactly. No, it's like Dungeons and Dragons, You know, tabletop role playing. It's like Dungeons and Dragons, but based on the Dune book series and film and stuff. So you get the point. So this whole docuseries title is it's like D&D, but ... And then I'm interviewing all these game company owners, streamers, different people in the industry, and we're just basically talking about the history of gaming for each of these people, the different games and systems and genres that they're putting out with their company, or if you're a streamer, the different games and genres you've played. And it's basically just to shed some light and showcase all these other games that are out there that I think are worth noticing. A lot of people only know about D&D because it's so fucking popular. And if you're not into tabletop role-playing games, you might only know about D&D because you've seen it on like South Park or Stranger Things or in a movie or something, you know? So that's the idea of this documentary is it's like D&D, but ... And I'm going to showcase as many other games and systems and genres as I can and other companies. So that's what I've been doing. And at Gen Con, it was awesome. I got to meet so many people in person that I've been working with via email over the past couple years, like Chris at Modifius, all the Artausorian people. And then I met, so many other people too, from other game companies like Evil Genius. And like I said, we have Issues. There's a few others, but I'm working on basically getting more footage for this docuseries. I'm now doing it via video. I'm having some people in person out here in LA. But yeah, Gen Con, I was able to get a bunch of interviews and footage for it. It was so awesome. So I'm pretty excited about that. So once that docuseries comes out, I'll start promoting it. It'd be awesome, everyone, to check that out and share it and stuff. Let's see. Cold Spider says, just an offer, Rob. Granted, a year is a long time, but still, I live in Indiana, and we were wanting to go. Wanting to go next year. So next Gen Con, you ever need help running the booth? I'm down. Nice, awesome. Yeah, every year, we're looking for volunteers and help. Absolutely. When you see us posting about it, it's not just that. I think there's another convention we're going to do with Sirenscape. There's like 2 a year, 2 main ones that we're focusing on. So definitely look out for that. If you see us posting needing volunteers, hit me up right away. That'd be great. BB Swaggin says, I run Red as a GM weekly, and I would love to join Cybernation as a player potentially. Nice. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Definitely. Post in the looking for group channel on the Cybernation Uncensored Discord. See if there's someone you can join for fun. But as far as the streaming teams, that's an option too. If you're into streaming, videoing, cosplay, obviously all of our stream teams, we really encourage like not just showing up and playing and having fun. That's the most important. You got to have fun, and show up and put in the time. But with our brand, like we're really trying to step up and make sure that all of our stream teams like get into it. They role play, they're in character, you get in cosplay and dress up and like, use overlays if you've got them and backgrounds, like just get into it. We try to be as entertaining as possible with our gameplay and make it immersive. So keep that in mind too, BB Swaggin. If you're down with that shit, you got a camera, you want to really dive into this, absolutely, the more the better. We want everyone to come over to Cybernation Uncensored and stream with us and play, GM, all that. So fuck yeah, hit us up. That'd be cool as hell. Raven says, I'd like to go and would def help out too. That'd be awesome. Yeah, you totally should. You should plan on it. Gen Con was so much fun. Just for the networking and the amount of games you can see and absorb. I mean, just that alone was awesome, let alone getting to work with Sirenscape and network and everything else, BB Swaggin, I have a camera, but no costume or background in cosplay. Well, you'll have to get it. You'll have to work on that. Yeah, if you want to play, no, you can still come play. Hit the looking for group and play. Like we have teams going. We also partnered with some West Marches and stuff. So you can absolutely find some gameplay. Get down with some Cyberpunk Red and other game systems that we push. But if you want to be part of one of the stream teams, I encourage get into some cosplay. Like get into it a little more. And you know what? If you've never done it before, you're gonna love it. You're gonna fucking love it. Like it's so much more fun. You can play the game and have fun with it. But the second you start like dressing in character and really trying to act in character and like, I don't know, it gets so much more fun. It gets more immersive. You start really feeling it. And it becomes therapy. It becomes a stress relief. It takes the gameplay up a notch. So if you haven't before, fuck with it, man. You're going to love it. Get into cosplay and really, get being immersive with that shit. Cold Spider, Chris says, if you could turn any movie into a Cyberpunk campaign, what would it be? Oh, geez. Anything fucked up. And I do that a lot too. Like I'll take like little twist ideas and then manipulate them into like a cyberpunk theme, but too many to name, man. Like every fucking movie. I think it was Mad Queen that was talking about when she was doing her one shots, that's what she would do, is take old sci-fi movies and switch them to Cyberpunk, and a lot of her fan base and younger people wouldn't know because it'd be a really old movie or something. And like, but yeah, almost any movie you can do that with. Take a plot twist and, you know, add some cyberware, make it dark dystopian, and it fits Cyberpunk. You can do that with almost any game though, right? You know, you can take, you know, great plot twists and ideas and mysteries to solve and just manipulate them into the genre that you need and the rules that you need. But okay, let's see, what else? So my docuseries, like I said, got a bunch of great footage at GenCon. Been doing the vid chats about that. Oh, and aside from the docuseries, let's talk a little bit about the filmmaking, because I did want to mention a couple other things I'm working on, because I mentioned it over half a year ago, I think in my last AMA. My producer partner, BJ, and his husband, James, we're still partnering for different films and stuff. We're wrapping up All for Gods finally. The final edits are in the works. So that'll be a crazy grindhouse horror film, just nonstop, gory, fucked up stuff. So if you're into that, you'll love it. If that's too much for you, don't watch it, because it is gory as fuck. I've got like eyeballs being dug out, crotches getting stabbed, throats being slit, like just crazy shit, like brains pulling out with the claw of a hammer, and like fucked up stuff. It's fun. It's fun because I love horror, but if you don't love it, you're not going to want to watch it, because this is absolutely grindhouse and like non-stop intensity. But it's called All for Gods. You can see the little promo video on YouTube I made over a year ago with just some of the B footage I had, and you'll see how much blood and craziness I put in that, and that's not even the main kills. That's just some B stuff, B-roll stuff. But yeah, that's finally wrapping on edits and post, so that'll be coming out hopefully soon. And then with my producer partner and his husband, we've been on pre-production for a few things. We're still working on Bears versus Zombies, which is kind of an LGBTQ horror sort of action film. You know, bears, not like animal bears, but like big hairy gay dudes, right? So like it's Bears versus Zombies. It's kind of wacky. And then Paranormal Gaytivity, which is another sort of pun play on Paranormal Activity, right? But LGBTQ. So we've got a whole series of LGBTQ sort of themed film stuff that we've been working on. And over time, we'll be kind of putting those out. It looks like Paranormal Gaytivity might be the first, just because we're kind of lining them up budget-wise to increase based on investors and stuff like that. So All for Gods will be first, and then Paranormal Gaytivity, probably Bears versus Zombies or Business Among Friends or one of the others. And you can see a lot of the shit I'm working on my IMDb page. If you go to imdb.com and look for Rob Mulligan, you'll see all my film background stuff that I do. Yeah, Cold Spider Chris says, oh, that sounds fantastic. BB Swaggin says, that's too much for me. I imagine you're referring to All for Gods. Yeah, it's definitely gory. Aaron Duran says, that sounds like it will be hilarious. I think you're speaking of the Bears versus Zombies, some of the LGBTQ pun film stuff. But yeah, that's the film work. Other than that, I still got Mulligan's Monster series on Troma, if anyone's familiar with Troma, who created Toxic Avenger and Poultrygeist and Sergeant Kabuki Man and all that stuff. I've got that Monster series there. I'm probably going to get back into releasing more episodes on that soon. Yeah, Bears versus Zombies sounds wild. BB Swaggin says, I agree. It's so funny, man. When I heard that title from my partner, I was like, I am in. Let's do this. So we started developing it. But yeah, what else? Let's see. So that's it for filmmaking. So yeah, I've got a kind of a wacky story I wanted to tell. Just it has nothing to do with tabletop role playing. It has to do with me and Val on our way to GenCon. BB Swaggin, are you writing or producing? All. Yeah, on all of, when I get hired to do other film work, like if you see me, you know, working on someone else's set, typically I'll be a producer. I always kind of work the producer angle just because I have so many networking hookups that I make a good producer on set. I can always get locations, actors, cast, crew, just different hookups for free. I've got lots of just, you know, decades of networking, right? So that makes me a producer. So I'm usually that even when I do get hired, but usually when I get hired, it's for production design. I usually am the lead of art department. So I'll make props, I'll set up the scenes. I just run art department. Usually my wife Val will be with me. She'll be like director of art, and I'll usually be a production designer or head of art department. That's usually when we get hired. Other than that, I've been hired to be like first AD, assistant director, and other things. But that's kind of the hire. When I do my own projects, like the ones I mentioned with my producer partners and stuff, I'm absolutely one of the producers because it's our projects. I'm putting in the work. But I usually direct, write, I'll usually help with production design and props. Like we'll multitask. When you make a film and you're not handed hundreds of thousands of dollars from investors, you've got to wear multiple hats to get it done. You got to pull in favors. Like my first film, if you go on Amazon or Tubi, you can look up Halitosis, the Legend of Stankmouth. It's this monster that has a butt for a face and a butthole for a mouth, inspired by the Garbage Pail Kid and other things. I think there was a butt-faced cartoon monster thing on South Park and this, but I made my own version, and Monster Guy. You can still watch that film. But like that one, I saved up and put in about $10K of my own money from things me and Val were doing, and then I pulled about $50,000 of favors to get it done. You know what I mean? So like when you're an independent filmmaker, you might put in $5K or $10K or a few thousand, and another buddy will put in a couple thousand or something. Everybody will have points to make money on the back end. But then aside from that, you have to pull favors, to really get it done. So like I'll work with filmmakers I know and, like an editor or a DP, and like get them to work for free or a reduced price. And in turn, I'll help them with their project. And like, that's just how it works. When you're an independent filmmaker on that lower level out here in LA or anywhere really, you rely on favors and hookups more than anything. Cause like, no one's handing you hundreds of thousands of dollars to make your film. There's just too many people out there trying to make films, So yeah, when I'm working on my projects like Bears vs. Zombies, Paranormal Gativity, All for Gods, I'm a producer, director, writer. Sometimes I'll act in them. I'll play a part or do something, All right, cool. Let me tell you my story. And keep in mind, any other questions, drop them in chat. I'll answer anything. This is the AMA. I figured like the Dune stream got canceled, so fuck it, let's dive in and just chat, But let me just tell you this little story. I wanted to tell a couple stories about GenCon that have nothing to do with the gaming and stuff like that, but just interesting fucked up shit, right? On the way there, we're on the airplane, we're landing, and we land, and anybody who's been on a plane, like, just like how they enter a plane in sections, right? Like when they load a plane, they typically will load like first class or like, children and military or disabled people. And, and then they'll do it by sections so you can fill it and not block people as they're trying to get in, right? Like there's a method to it. But when the plane lands and they empty, it's like the stewardesses, the, pilot, anybody involved, like they don't do that anymore. Like they'll do it when you load in, they'll kind of control the flow, but when they land, it's just kind of a free-for-all, and I hate that shit, man. Like it reminds me of when you're trying to, you're driving on the highway and someone's trying to get in front of you and they're rocking that shoulder or cutting lane. Instead of just tactfully getting in behind you or where they can, they're like trying to cut you off and run up and fucking shit up, right? That's what happened on the plane. We're landing in Indiana, and the plane gets up, taxiing up, and everyone's sitting up ahead of us, and we're waiting for the plane to open up. Like the door hasn't even opened for you to exit. Everyone's still sitting. Some people up ahead are getting up, getting out their luggage and stuff, and I'm sitting there with Val. And then all of a sudden from behind us, we see this guy just, and other people lining up ahead, and they just like cut in front of us, and then the line kind of backs up, and this girl who's with that guy stops like right next to us. I'm like, fuck, now I can't get out of my seat. I'm like blocked in by people behind me, not letting the people in front of them get out of their seat and go. You know what I mean? It was like very inconsiderate. So I'm sitting there and I notice other people like talking under their breath or like looking, talking to each other. And then I said to the lady, excuse me, can I get out of my seat? I can't get my stuff. You're blocking me in. She's like, oh, well, yeah, I can't move. There's people. Yeah, because you came running up, not waiting for people in front of you to get out. And then she started arguing with me and just talking shit. And then I realized it was her husband who cut up in front. And he turns around. Oh, what? You want me to back up so you can get out? I said, yes. That's exactly what I want. I want you to back up and let the people in front of you get out. I said, all these people, and I said all this. I'm like, I stood up. I'm like, all these people probably won't say shit to you, but you're being fucking rude and inconsiderate. Can you please back up so I can get the fuck out of my seat? And he backed up with his wife, and they kind of backed up, and I got out of my seat. I got my stuff, and then I stood there and kind of blocked the people behind me so everyone in front of me could get out of their seat, get their luggage, and exit the plane in order, like how we entered, like just being considerate. Let people in front of you get off before you cut them off. Now get this. When we get off, as we're leaving, like they're all talking shit to us behind, like with their friends. I guess they had other friends sitting behind, so they all started talking shit. Other people in the plane started talking shit to them, like having my back. I just ignored it. I kept walking with Val, because they backed up. I forced them to be considerate, so I let it go, And as I'm leaving, they all fucking got in a line waiting for carry-on luggage that they had to check because it was too big when they got there. So they were rushing to get off the plane to get in a fucking line just to get their carry-on anyways. By the time we got down to luggage claim, they didn't walk down there till like 5-10 minutes after. Like, motherfucker, you're cutting everyone off being rude just to hurry up to wait. So you're being rude to everyone pointlessly, you know? So anyways, that's my weird little story. It just pissed me off. It reminded me of people cutting you off in traffic, and then you honk the horn like, hey, you're being inconsiderate, and then they flick you off because you pointed out them being inconsiderate. And that's what they tried to do to me. Like, they dove down my throat and argued. And I don't think he was expecting me to kind of call him on it. Like, when he was being rude and kind of flexing on me, like, oh, what, you want me to back up? I'm like, yes, fucking back up. Let all these people go in front of you, you know? So anyways, that's my crazy inconsiderate plane story. I hate that shit. I know I should probably keep my mouth shut, but I fucking can't, man. I'm just not that guy. I am not that guy. And I even told Val, I'm like, man, like, I need to watch it. And like on the way home, something similar happened, and I totally looked at Val and I was like, I'm not saying anything. Like, I was just quiet about it, you know? I like forced myself just to take it, you know? But I'm just normally not that guy. Like, if I see something wrong or fucked up happening, it pisses me off and I can't handle it. Like, I can't handle inconsiderate people and bullies, like people that just do shit to other people because they know they won't say anything or do anything. I hate that. And I'm always the one to step up and try to protect the people that are scared to say shit, you know? But it's always at like the sacrifice of my own mentality or my own safety, you know? Like, I'll have people yelling at me or something. I'm like, fuck, I'm just trying to make things right and stand up for the little guy, you know? So anyways, I need to watch that. I need to probably not call people out as much as I do. But I couldn't help it, man. I was so pissed off. Plus, we got no sleep. I couldn't eat that morning. I got like 3 hours of sleep on that plane. And when I woke up, I couldn't eat. I don't know if you've ever eaten anything where you get like that tight throat thing where the food feels like it's coming back up and then it goes down, and it, you know, like I get that once in a while, usually in the morning, like if I take my vitamins and supplements before I eat, and sometimes all that cold water and stuff, I don't know if it fucks with me or something, but that morning it happened and I couldn't eat, so I was really irritated on the plane. They weren't serving anything, you know, it was just some peanuts or something, and like then when they were cutting off, I just lost it, so I had to say something. But anyways, that's my little plane ride story. I wanted to share that. I thought it was fucked up. Yeah. my other pointless, and that's awesome. I see you in chat. Everyone's saying like, you know, get them, put them in their place. I hate people who think everyone else, or no one else around them matters. When good people are quite quiet, bad people take over. I wish more people would do what you did. People wouldn't be pricks as often. Preach on, brother. Thank you so much. Seriously. All these chat messages make me feel so better about that, because like I told Val, I'm like, I get embarrassed by that, but like I can't help myself, you know? I feel like I have to stick up for fucked up stuff, you know, like for the little guy, and like, but I end up regretting it, because like I'm a shy person generally, so I end up with anxiety, like everyone's fucking looking at me and stuff, but I can't help it, you know? But thank you so much for chiming in on chat and kind of having my back on that. It makes me feel better about it. My other weird, not crazy or fucked up, but my other weird GenCon story, first time this has ever happened to me, it's fucking odd. But one of the nights, we grabbed something to eat with the Sirenscape team, Steve and Dan and stuff, which is so cool to hang out with them in person, you know, after working with them for so long. But we went out. We decided to grab something to eat on the way out from the event. They were like, "Hey, let's stop. We'll grab something. We'll buy dinner, you know." And like, so we stopped at this restaurant, and they gave us water, and I drink the water, and it's like thick. It was like it was almost like clear taste, like clear flavorless syrup. It reminded me of like I can't even put my finger on it. It was like a clear syrup with like no flavor. It was water, but it was like, it was just odd. And then we realized it was soft water. If you're ever familiar with soft water, like my parents had a soft water switch for their shower to take off all the hard minerals and things out of the water. And when you shower, it actually feels soft, like it's moisturizing your skin without the harsh minerals and stuff. That's soft water. It's kind of like distilled a bit. It's not for drinking. Salt, like you shouldn't drink soft water. Like it's better to have the minerals and things in it. But just on a flavor, and I believe like soft being distilled or close to distilled, someone correct me in chat, that actually pulls, it leaches the minerals and nutrients and things out of your body. It's not good to drink that shit all the time. But yeah, that soft water, man, like I went to go drink it, I was like, what the fuck? And everybody at the table was the same way. They were like, this is odd. And like nobody drank the water because it was like, it wouldn't refresh you. Like it didn't feel light like water. And I only drink water. I don't drink, when I go out at events, I might have a soda like once every few months or something. It's kind of a treat for me to have like a soda or something other than just water. But so I'm very into water. I drink like a minimum of a gallon a day. So when I had this water, I was like, whoa, like I couldn't even drink it. It was like syrupy. It felt like it was like thick. It like wouldn't hydrate me. It didn't feel thin and refreshing. It was like, it was gross, and it wouldn't get cold. I wonder if like the minerals in regular water, because it like hold temperature in the water a little better or something. But this was like a glass filled with ice and in this, soft water. And it was like warm. It like it wouldn't get cold. It was thick. It was so fucking odd. So anyways, that's my other weird Gen Con story, is that I was served soft water to drink at a restaurant, and it was just so odd. I don't know if anybody else has had soft water to drink like that or served to them, but let me know in the comments here on the live or on YouTube. I'd be curious to see if anybody else has dealt with that before. Getting some pop-ups here. Let me close that. See, that was my other Gen Con story. I think I covered everything here. The filmmaking stuff I'm going to do, the new sponsors, the new adventures I'm working on. Just my experiences at Gen Con, running into people, my fucked up plane story. Main thing I wanted to go over was, the future of Cybernation Uncensored, how we're expanding into more games and gameplay, and we're even, taking it away from future and going a little more medieval, but without the high fantasy. It's going to be that dark horror medieval vibe. That was the main thing I wanted to go over, is the expansion for the brand, and the fact we're always looking for more game masters to come stream with us. If you're a game master and you want to come put together a team with us and stream, I would love that. Hit me up, please. And I also wanted to kind of make up, since we didn't have our Dune stream. Just kind of wanted to rock this today. But I think that's it for me. I'm going to call it quits. That was a nice little hour AMA. I'm glad everybody was able to tune in, ask some questions and let me just run my mouth about this shit. I really appreciate all of you being an ear, being a shoulder, all that good stuff. Having my back with that fucked up plane story. All that stuff means a lot, seriously. Thanks so much for tuning in. And just a reminder, this, let me see, what is it? We've got, this Wednesday is Tales from the Forlorn Dopes. Thursday is my Sirenscape stream, and then Saturday is Team Nevermore. And then we'll be making up this Dune stream in the next couple weeks. I'll be launching the new gameplay on the last Monday of the month, and my Fallout stream will be coming back, I believe. Fallout might be coming back next Friday. I need to confirm the date, but next Friday, my Fallout Team Wasteland, where everyone's based in Florida with the mind control ghouls and the Disney cult, and Brotherhood of Steel with the Northside Kings in Miami, and the Enclave with that clean wave chemical shit over at the launch pad. All that stuff is coming back. I know it's been months since I had that stream, but it's coming back. I believe it is going to be next Friday the 9th. And then after that, we're probably going to rock. We're going to finish that campaign. Then I'm starting a new Fallout team, and that'll be the last Friday of every month. So keep that in mind too. So anyways, check out the calendar. Give some shares. I would really appreciate the like, the follow, and also hit me up on YouTube. We always do these live streams, but I could really use the support on YouTube as well. Like if you see me posting the VODs for the gameplay tutorials, any of this stuff, please like the video on YouTube and leave a comment. Just leaving a comment and liking the video helps the algorithm, so YouTube actually suggests my video to people that might be into those topics based on the hashtags and things. So seriously, please, if you see the YouTube videos, give a like, give a comment. I would really appreciate that. Oh, hold on, let me make sure I'm not missing a comment here. I see Cold Spider. I'm going to take a moment and say thank you. No one around where I live plays Cyberpunk, and it's the only game I've ever actually sought out. A lot of friends play Star Trek or Masquerade. Oh, yeah. So thanks, Rob, for this group and everyone involved for giving me the chance to play a fantasy game that feels like home. Hell yeah. That's awesome. No, thanks so much for joining us, and like I said, Colt Spider, he's going to be joining Team Veritas very soon. Thanks for the shout out. Like I said, I created this community and brand because I have a passion for cyberpunk and dystopian gameplay and everything that I'm doing and expanding towards. But I'd be lying if I didn't say it's 100% validated by shit like that, positive comments, people having my back, liking the video, sharing the streams, like I said, liking and commenting on YouTube, joining my Patreon, all those things. That's the validation that shows me that, what I'm doing, people actually dig it and there's a place for it. Like I said, I'd probably do it anyways because I have a passion for this, if you can't tell. I would be doing it as therapy, right? But the fact that everyone's joining the community, showing some love, support, putting comments like that from Chris and just letting me know how you feel and thanking me for shit like this, like I can't even fucking express enough how much that means to me. So thank you so much for that, it means a lot. But all right, cool. Thanks everybody for tuning into this AMA. I know it was last minute. It was uncalled for because of the whole Dune cancel and stuff, but I threw it together, and I was glad we were able to chat about some things. So yeah, hopefully I'll see everybody Wednesday for Team Veritas, and then, join the Cyber Nation Uncensored Discord. Check out the website, the Facebook group, Twitter, all that stuff. Also hit me up. I have my Twitter, Mulligan101 on Twitter. Give me a follow and hit me up. Aaron Duran, thanks for the sub. That means a lot. All right, cool. I'll see everybody next time. Take care.
Cyber Nation Uncensored.